Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of BSing Sports here on the BSing Network. With me, as always, is my co-host Ryan. I'm Bill.
Well,
We actually have two
not
other.
always, not always.
That's
You did
correct.
it by
Last week it was a
yourself last
solo
week.
show. Yeah. I mean, it happens, you know.
Very nice job, by the way.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I kind of wish my microphone situation could get sorted. I keep switching from one to another. But here we are, ready to go. We have two special guests with us. I guess they're not super special at this point anymore. You've seen them both so often. But with us first here is, I'm going to introduce, Tim's having laptop issues. He's trying to get that squared away. So Jake, you're coming in first. Here's Jay Krogan, the Broncos fan, for those of you who forgot. He and Ryan still have a bet with Miles Sanders going. Jake, how you doing?
I'm good. And that bet looks good. Unless he doesn't play this week.
We have a few bets out right now. So right now, Miles Sanders is on pace for 68 receptions. So that's looking good. Jake is actually looking like he's 3-0 on these bets right now, but it is still only 3 weeks completed and one game. So Miles Sanders is on pace for 68 catches. He hasn't pulled the hamstring that's inevitably going to happen yet, but he has been, missing practice. So it's coming. Isaiah Pacheco's currently running back 23. He needs to finish inside the top 24. And the other one we were talking about, Jayden Reed, Romeo Doubs. So far, Romeo Doubs has a leg up, but Jayden Reed's keeping it close. So,
correct. There's 15 points separating them right now.
Well, Tim's laptop's booting up, so I'll introduce him while he's on a cell phone. And we're just gonna bring him in. Tim, I know you're on your cell phone. You're gonna get to your laptop here in a minute. It's good to see you, bud. How you doing? How's parenting?
I'm all right. It's saying working on updates 0% now. I don't know what's going on with this laptop. I guess
what's going on? You should have turned it on earlier.
Exactly. I should have done it earlier. But hey, I'm on my phone at least, right?
Yeah, at least you're here, right? You're here. So for those of you who have been, or maybe you haven't been following along.
Question. So question, Tim.
Mm-hmm.
Did you keep that Cowboy shirt from last year? Because the way you've gone the last couple weeks, you might need to whip that bad boy out by the end of the season.
Man, let me tell you this. I actually do have it still. I used it for like a painting shirt, so it's covered in paint. But I'm in a CBS Pick'em league, and I got all of them right last week. My problem is the over under. I can't figure that out.
I think none of us have done very well on over under yet.
Yeah, let's go. The only person who was 500 last week on over under was me, and 500 is not great when you're trying to pick games like this. Ryan was close at 7-9, and then Jake and Tim were an abysmal 4-12 on the over unders.
Yeah, I mean,
that puts our
over under.
Target.
That new implementation this year really shakes things up, right? Like if we were going just straight up, it would look a little different. And then against the spread, the last 2 weeks, I know I've killed it against the spread. I've got like 14 and 12 wins or 11 wins between the last 2 weeks. But that over under, man.
Yeah. So our standing,
as Jake pointed out last week, 2 weeks ago, it's just so hard to bet on the under. Like you have to root for people to not score. And as avid fantasy players like the four of us, that goes against everything we want to do anyway. So
right.
Elliot's only bang that barking. Mavericks don't bark. Only at me when I'm holding Lucas.
Fair enough. So our current standings are Tim and I are tied for third/fourth place at 78 and 66. Ryan is in second now at 80 and 64, and Jake is in first at 81 and 63. I do want to talk about how I made up a ton of ground here the last week and a half. My first week was terrible.
Blood in the water, baby. I'm coming.
So yeah, let's get into it. We all know what we got to do here. I drew the short straw. I get to go first. If you watched us last year, you understand that we do a rotation so that not the same person's always answering first. And yeah, here we're going right into it. You got the Atlanta Falcons visiting the Jacksonville Jaguars. Jaguars are favored by 3.5 points. The over-under is 43. I don't think it's going to come as a surprise to many people. Then I'm taking the Jaguars here. I know they got embarrassed last week by the
Colts.
No, Jaguars got embarrassed by the Texans last week.
Texans, yeah. Division.
Yeah. So I think they're going to come back with a really strong game plan. They're going to give it to the Falcons. I expect a lot of yards out of Christian Kirk and Calvin Ridley. And I expect to see Tank Bigsby used a little bit more better. 3.5 spread's not very big, so I think they cover the spread. However, I don't think they get to the 43.5, so under. Ryan, you get the second draw.
Yeah, I'm taking the Jags here as well. I expect Doug Peterson to have his team a lot more ready this week than he apparently did last week. That 3.5 spread's getting me. I'll flip a coin here on that, but I'm going to come back. I am picking the under. Early start. It is a London game, 9:30. These guys are changing time zones. So I do expect it to be, I'm playing the odds here that it's going to be closer to a Thursday night kind of scoring. And with the way the Falcons control the ball on the ground, I don't think that there's going to be a lot of possessions. So I'm taking the under there. And that 3.5 point spread is tough, man. The Falcons have played pretty well. This is a neutral stadium. I will take the Jags to cover, though. Just something in my gut telling me that the Jags are, going to win by at least 4 this game. So,
all right, Jake.
So my whole thought process on this is the Jags play in Europe every year. They're used to this
game for them.
Yeah, and so I think they go into this. They got embarrassed last week. And they come out firing, go up big, and I don't think Atlanta has the quarterback in Ritter nor the ability to come back from behind when double scores. So I think the Jags take care of business. They're used to this, and I think it goes over. It's going to be close. Man.
Yeah, that 3.5 point spread is tricky, man. That's because the
Yeah.
Falcons don't really get blown out. They don't lose big games.
I'm thinking like a 28-17 ball game, which is 1.5 over the point spread. So that's my pick.
I'm
and that's my
assuming
thought
you
process.
meant 21.
Hmm?
Do you mean
I said
21?
28-17.
I heard 28-17.
I heard
Yeah.
28-17, but you said 1 point over. That would be 21-17. No, I wouldn't. No, he's right. Yeah, 28-17. I can't do math.
Yeah.
Math is hard.
It's fine. I understand.
Tim.
He's talking about the over-under. I thought he was talking about the spread. That's why I said that.
No, the over-under.
My turn, right?
Yeah.
Man. So I'm going to do it differently this week. On my CBS pool, I took the Falcons with the points. But here, I'm going to take the Jags with with going over. I think they figure it out. Calvin Ridley gets going. Christian Kirk gets going. They don't have Zay Jones. But don't put it past the Falcons. They've been playing great defense in the last couple of weeks. And the way they're using Big John Robinson, they're doing really well with that. So
And Tyler Algier.
Huh?
And Tyler Algier.
Not last week, really. But, yeah, give me the Jags to go over. I think they cover a 3.5.
All right. Next game on the docket. The two of the worst teams in football. We have the Denver Broncos visiting the Chicago Bears. Broncos are favored by 3.5, over under 46. Ryan, you get the go on this one.
So this one's actually kind of easy for me. I'm going the Broncos to cover, and I'm taking the over here. So, yes, but they're both. They're combined 0-6. Like, these are two of the worst teams in the NFL. The Broncos' offense has at least looked competent at times this season, like against Washington. Whereas there is no way, in any way, shape, or form, aspect of the NFL game has the Bears team ever looked decent at any point during the season. So, with two bad defenses and, one hit or miss offense, I feel like that the Broncos could beat the Bears on the road by probably a touchdown here. But seeing as it is two very bad defenses, I'm taking the over here.
All right, Jake.
Man, this one is interesting. They are.
I've already typed in
terrible.
Broncos for you.
Yeah, no,
He actually picked the Bears when he filled out the thing.
Yeah, I was hurt. They got embarrassed last week. They hurt me a lot, and I just can't do it. I have to pick the Broncos here. They have a way more consistent offense. Russell Wilson, like people don't talk about it enough. He is leaps and bounds better than he was last year. Sean Payton's done a great job at that. The question of the day is, what is that defense going to do? 70 points. I mean, Miami has a great offense, and everybody knows that. But that's unacceptable. And Vance Joseph has a lot of questions to fill at this point. So I'm taking the Bears. I mean, I'm taking the Broncos. I want to take the Bears. I'm taking the Broncos. I think they cover handily because I just don't think the Bears have any offense right now. Their defense is terrible. That entire organization's in shambles.
Yeah, it is.
And I think it goes over because these defenses can't stop anything. I think Ryan could go out there and rush for 5 yards a carry against both teams. And just it's rough.
Hey,
Can't leave these over.
I want to say 5 yards a carry, maybe 3.
all right now.
I mean, they get paid millions of dollars to do this, so.
I mean, I would still take 3. I would still take 3. Me personally, I would take 3.
I think anybody would take 3.
Also, who messed up on our spreads again? Because thought we agreed to a 0.5 rule for the over/under in the spreads.
Not me.
Oh, I just forgot to put it there. That's
all
me.
good.
I'm
We'll play it as 46.5. We'll change it after the show.
Oh yeah.
I mean, I've been going back and forth with this one too, unfortunately. I believe in Justin Fields for some reason. I don't know why. But give me the Broncos to cover the 3.5 pretty easily. Like Jake said, they've been playing good offense. And that defense has been letting them down. And Justin Fields and that offense isn't doing nothing very well. So give me the Broncos to cover and to go over the 46.5.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing for me in this game specifically is coaching, right? You've got several players on the Bears calling out the coaching staff of the Bears, saying they're not being utilized correctly. That's really not a good look for a franchise. So I'm also going with the Broncos. Again, Jake said it. Sean Payton's doing good things there. They don't look as good as they probably could be. But I think they're probably on the up and up, even after being embarrassed 70-20 last week. Absolutely embarrassed. It was embarrassing. It was embarrassing for football, to be honest with you there, Jake, just for having the Broncos on the field. But I also think that the Broncos cover the 3.5 point spread. And I also am going with over. So this game is a wash for all 4 of us. Let's see.
This is one of those trap games from Vegas, where we kind of stated it's all pretty obvious that the Broncos cover.
Yeah.
Next game on the docket should be an exciting one. The Buffalo Bills are hosting the Miami Dolphins. Bills are favored by 2.5 points at home. Over under is 53.5. Jake, fire away.
See, this is the one I love the most. It's the hardest to pick, in my opinion, because we know the Bills have a great offense here. And we know the Dolphins have an elite offense. They just put that up for display for everybody to see last week. And so, to me, it's going to come down to who gets the ball last, who gets that turnover, essentially. And so, I think the Dolphins pull this one out. They just seem to be playing better complementary football. They can run it. They can pass. And they're going to have Buffalo's hands full. If they can shut down the run and make the Bills one-dimensional, I think they have this easily. So I have the Dolphins. Obviously, they're going to cover since they're the underdogs. But I have it going under. I see this being like a 28-21 ball game. I don't see a lot of offensive firepower, but the Dolphins have a mid defense at best, but we know the Bills, what they can do. And so, yeah, give me the Dolphins on the under.
Tim.
Oh man.
I'm glad I got to go last.
Yeah, I bet. Last year on this game, week 3, I took the Bills in Miami. But I think I'm going to go to Bills and Buffalo this time. I think they cover the 2.5 points, and I think they're going to go over. I think if Josh Allen utilized Gabe Davis like he has been in the last couple of weeks with that 1 touchdown a game type thing, and James Cook had been running the ball pretty well. If they start throwing the ball more to Stephon Diggs a little bit, like they haven't been, like they need to be, I think it'd be a pretty good game. It's a toss up, but give me the Bills to end undefeated streak for the Dolphins, like the Dolphins ended theirs last year.
Yeah. Listen, Jay kind of alluded to it a little bit. Timmy kind of touched on it a little bit. We know what the Bills are, right? They're in getting close to the AFC Championship game or in the AFC Championship game every year in and year out. Not Z Money.
Hey,
What's
buddy.
Up, Z Money?
Hey, buddy. How you doing?
He didn't get on and bother me last week. I missed you there, Z Money. But no, again, there's a reason the Bills are in winning positions and winning seasons year after year after year. And I'm not putting anything down that the Dolphins and Mike McDaniel and Tua and them guys are doing. Jalen Waddle's back. However, James Cook is a better running back than Devin Singletary. The running attack for Buffalo is significantly better this year than it was last year. I know against the Jets in Week 1, Josh Allen didn't look right, but the following 2 games he looked exactly right. So I'm going with the Bills here. I'm gonna ride the Bills on this one. I think they obviously got to win by more than 2.5 points, right? So I got the cover, and I also think it goes over. I'm not putting anything down against the Miami Dolphins. They're playing really, really good football. I just think the Bills are, a little bit more defensive minded, especially than, the Broncos, obviously. And with Sean McDermott, I think they have a good game plan. They find a way to not stop Tyreek Hill, but neutralize him to an extent. And the Bills come out victorious here. I actually have like a 31-28 type game. Tim? I'm sorry, Ryan.
Last but not least. So I agree with all of you. I am picking the Bills to win this game, strictly because it's in Buffalo. I do have questions about the Bills offensively. It seems as though over these games, if Josh Allen does not have Herculean performances against good teams, they generally don't find ways to win. Outside of Stephon Diggs, there's no proven weapons. I know they've been utilizing Gabe Davis a little bit more, but if the Dolphins find a way to neutralize Diggs, it could be a problem for the Bills offense. However, that's easier said than done. So I'm taking the Bills here. I am taking them to cover, but here's where I agree with Jake. I think it's the under. I think that this ends up much more close and defensive oriented than anybody could expect. The Bills have a fantastic defense, both against the run and against the pass this year. And the Dolphins, they just put up 70 points. How many times in NFL history have we seen teams put up 70 points or high-scoring games, even like 50, 60-something points, and then come back and, have another high-scoring game? I just don't like the odds there, especially against a divisional opponent that they'll see twice this year and have seen quite a lot in the last few years. So I'm taking the Bills to cover, but I'm taking the under here.
Man, you got me almost wanting to take the under here. Because you're 100% right. How often have we seen them score 50 points? Well, I can change it till 11:30 tomorrow.
Yep.
But yeah, how many times have we seen people come out and score 50, 60 points, and then the next week they can barely get on the scoreboard? It happens way more often than not. But I'm going to leave it for now. I'll think about it overnight. Say it again?
Bills got a good defense, so.
They do, yeah.
I actually think that their defense is better than their offense, so you can make the argument that like the game here is the Bills' defense versus Miami's offense.
Tim, you get to fire away with this little doozy of a game. I don't know the status of that's nice. I don't know the status of Deshaun Watson as of right now. He hasn't practiced all week. However, we've got the Baltimore Ravens visiting the Cleveland Browns. 2.5 favorites are the Browns. Over-under is 40.5.
Oh, man. The Ravens been very disappointing this year. They look like Lamar can't figure out the passing game right now. And then whenever he's trying to runs it, he fumbles or don't get how many yards he needs. He don't look too well for me. I think watching his playing, I think he was limited the last 2 days, though.
Okay.
But I think
I saw that he was lagging.
Give me the Browns for the cover, and I think they go to over 40.5 points. I think the Browns been playing better football defensively anyway, and most of the Ravens' defense is hurt still. So
Browns covering over.
Yep.
Okay.
Interesting.
Ryan's having technical difficulties. Fortunately, it's my turn. Listen, I've been extremely impressed with the Browns defense so far this year. Like super surprised, was not expecting it, like literally right off the cuff. I think they've given up 17 first downs on the season so far. 17. I'm not going against that defense right this second, so give me the Browns. 2.5 points. I mean, you win by a field goal, right? So I got them to cover. However, I don't think it gets to 40.5. As you said, Tim, the Ravens haven't looked fantastic offensively. They have looked pretty good defensively, but also the Browns haven't looked super fantastic offensively. So I think this game stays on the under. So I'm going Browns to cover, but it's an under.
I like it.
Sorry, I was having everything was kind of laggy on my end, so I stepped out real quick, see if that helped. You said you didn't know the status of who for this game?
Deshaun Watson. But Tim said he's been limited the last 2 days.
He'll play.
There you go.
Oh yeah, he'll play.
Ryan, you're up, bud. Good timing.
Again, another tricky game here, man. These divisional games get me. I'm going to take the Browns just because they are the home team. The Browns have been playing good football. I think that despite the absence of Nick Chubb, who reportedly has to have a second surgery because, as it turns out, he did have ACL damage. I think despite that they will play better football. I think Deshaun Watson is doing for the first time something he hasn't really done in his whole career. He's utilizing all of his weapons, not just hyper-targeting his number one receiver. And the Browns' passing offense, it's improving. I know Watson's kind of still looking a little up and down from time to time, but it's on the up and up. And I think now that the offense is going to be centered around him, you'll see what Deshaun Watson is capable of doing. So I do think that they cover there, and I'm going to take this is a trap. I'm going to take the over. 24-21. It's going to be really close to that number. The 40.5 is a really good number for that.
Jake.
Did they ever say what he has as far as Deshaun Watson's injury? Like, what is he nursing?
His shoulder.
Shoulder.
It's either a bruised shoulder or an AC shoulder joint. Yeah.
Interesting.
He'll play.
Okay. Like everybody says, the Browns defense has been elite.
Z Money, real quick, Jake. Z Money. Jake and I will be live tomorrow at 11:30 Eastern time in the morning to answer all your start sit questions. If you want to jump in and get in on that action.
You guys might need to do it earlier with the 9:30 game.
But as I was saying, the Browns have an elite defense.
I ain't getting up at.
Hard pass.
Interesting piece of news here. Interesting piece of news here since we haven't reached that game yet. Jimmy Garoppolo is out.
He is out.
I wasn't picking him anyway.
But
no, sure wasn't.
Okay.
No, definitely.
If all the distractions are done.
Bill, real quick.
One more thing.
Yeah, right. The Ravens offense just hasn't found it yet. Lamar just does not look comfortable in this offense right now. He doesn't look like a pocket passer. He doesn't look like your standard quarterback because he's not your standard quarterback. He is a runner, and that's what he needs to do. He needs to go back to what he did best: first read, not there, run, and get that defense away from you. Because if you try and sit in that pocket, Myles Garrett is going to come for you, and he's going to get you. That's just what he's done all year. He's looked phenomenal. So I'm also taking the Browns. I think they cover with ease. And, oh, man, I think it's not close. The Ravens are kind of banged up on defense. And I'm taking the over. But I see like a 30-14 game.
Yeah, let's touch on the Lamar Jackson thing real quick. I know he can probably be kicking off rust because, he's coming back from the injury at the end of last year and, all that contract negotiation bullshit that was going on. So maybe his head wasn't perfectly football ready when he came into camp to start the year. But he's got the best set of receivers I think he's ever had in his career. And I know that they're injured right now. They're banged up on offense also. OBGA is not playing. I know they got somebody else that's not playing. But it's just disappointing to see Lamar kind of regress as a quarterback in that area, right? When they finally have put weapons around him. So that's just my thought and opinion there on that one.
Man,
yeah, you bring up a good point, and Lamar Jackson's one of those quarterbacks I believe didn't take any snaps in the preseason when they were bringing in a new offensive scheme. Now his weapons are hurt. It just seems like it's going to take forever for the cohesiveness to be there.
Yeah, no, that checks out. Y'all are just agreeing with what I said, which is weird.
All right, let's get on to the next one. I have the next game. Timmy, what were you saying? I'm sorry, bud.
I was telling Jake we don't hate him all the time. We could take your stupid ass trades.
I actually haven't been trading a lot lately.
Let's see. We have the Pittsburgh Steelers visiting the Houston Texans. Texans off of that big upset victory in Jacksonville last week. Steelers are favored by 3.5 points. The over-under is 42.5. D'Amico Ryans is doing great job in Houston, right? And CJ Stroud looks like he could be the real thing. I don't think he's turned the ball over yet this season. He's very decisive and very much like we just said, Lamar kind of sort of needs to be. He's looking for his first read, and if it's not there, he's running. And I think that's really important for a young quarterback like CJ Stroud. But Mike Tomlin's been a head coach for a long time for a reason, especially on the same franchise. I think the Steelers take this game. I think they win by 7, so I got them to cover. And I do think it goes over the 42.5 points. I think the Steelers by themselves get closer to the 30 mark, and then the Texans are playing catch up. So give me the Steelers to cover and over. However, I did obviously want to make it a point to say that I think that D'Amico Ryans is doing good things in Houston. Ryan.
Yeah, so first...
Unless he jumps right back on. No, it's okay. I'll just yammer on for a few more minutes about how D'Amico Ryans is doing a great job with a really young roster. You got Tank Dell, you've got CJ Stroud, and they're just really coming together really well. We are going to have to, because I don't have enough to ramble on for 3 minutes about the Texans. I just don't. So we'll skip over to Jake. What do you say, Tim?
No. Chain reaction from the dogs.
Chain reaction from the dogs.
Go ahead, Jake.
1 second. Gary Bryant here was saying that
Brandt,
Texans,
that would be mine and Timmy's last name, Brandt.
Brandt? Oh, Brandt. No, sorry.
Why do you keep saying that last name wrong? It's that hard to spell.
Well, Alabama
it's
education.
It's like Grant with a B. It's not difficult. You're making it more difficult than it needs to be. All right, Ryan, it's still your pick, bud. Can Ryan hear us?
Texans home underdogs. I don't like that for them, especially coming off the win. However, I do think that the Steelers finally get the run game going here this week. I'm going Texans, and obviously for them to cover. I think that right now offensively they're just playing too well. The Steelers kind of look identityless in the beginning of the season. They're not throwing the ball particularly well. They're not running the ball particularly well. And then I actually expected to go over because as good as the Texans' offense has been, their defense has kind of been hit or miss for the most part. So I'm taking Houston obviously to cover, and I'll take the over
there. All right, Jake.
Interesting. We're all everywhere on this game. I like what the Texans are doing offensively. Like we've talked about, Tank Dell's come out, put up some big numbers recently. They have Nico Collins, who's put up big numbers, and Robert Woods as well. So they have the receiver core right now that is meshing very well with Stroud. But their offensive line right now is in shambles with injuries. I think there's 6 of them injured right now. So give me TJ Watt right now to just wreak havoc this week. I think the Steelers' offense is also in shambles. They don't know who to play with Jaylen Warren or Najee Harris. They don't have Deontay Johnson back. Pickens is hit and miss. Allen Robinson just isn't Allen Robinson anymore. And so to me, I see this game going under real easy.
But who are you picking? Because you bounced back and forth there.
Oh yeah, no, that's what I'm getting to. I'm wrapping up here with. I think the Steelers edge this. It comes down to Mike Tomlin is just a fantastic head coach. He's been in the
Cover
league
or no
for
cover?
years, and I have
if you
them.
pick,
I have them
he
not
picked
to
the Steelers.
cover. I think this is a close game. I think a field goal wins it, and so to me, Steelers win by 3, and it's not close to an under. I'm seeing like a 20 to 17 game.
Okay. Tim.
Oh man. The Texans have looked a lot better this year already. Stroud looking good, Collins, Tank Dell. The running game hasn't been getting going like they was last year, believe it or not. And that comes with the offensive line being injured, like Jake said. With that being said, with the Steelers defense with TJ Watt, it's like he's the best defensive end in the game, in my opinion. So give me the Steelers to cover, and I don't think it goes under. I mean, I don't think it goes over, so under. I'm sorry.
Let's see. So Ryan's the only one who picked the Texans in that one. Very nice. Let's see. Next game is another battle of a pair of 0-3 teams. We've got the Minnesota Vikings visiting the Carolina Panthers. Vikings are favored by 3.5 points. Over under is 45.5. Ryan, you get to go on this one, bud.
Yeah, give me the Vikings here. I think that they are way too good to be 0-3. I think they've had a little bit of bad luck, so I expect them to turn it around. I do think that they cover. I just don't think that the Panthers offense and Bryce Young are quite ready to keep up with an offense like the Vikings. And give me the over here. I do think that this ends up turning into a shootout.
Sorry, say that again, though. You said the Vikings to cover and over? Vikings cover and over. Sorry, I realize that I seem distracted. I apologize. Let's see. Jake is your next.
Yes, sir. And like Ryan said, the Vikings should not be 0-3. They've had Miami, I'm pretty sure, and they've had the Chargers, and I can't remember who the third team is at this current moment. But
they had the Eagles, then they had the Chargers. They blamed their own fans for losing the game. That was stupid.
Yeah, that's dumb. But Vikings offense is just too many talented players, and they're not going to get stopped by the Panthers. I actually went back and forth with this game because I think if Andy Dalton was the starting quarterback, they would have a better shot to win this. Bryce Young just hasn't looked good. He doesn't know where to go with the ball, it seems, half the time. And to be honest, they looked good last week with a veteran presence. But I'm taking the Vikings. I think they handle this very easily. But I'm taking the under. And
under, okay.
Yeah, for them to cover in the under.
Sir Timothy.
Big Vikings. I think the Vikings are too good to be 0-3. They had a couple of tough losses, especially last week with the Chargers, especially when the Chargers offense ran a 4th and 1 and didn't get it on their own 20-yard line, and the Vikings didn't score. Justin Jefferson's still elite. He always will be elite. Anderson's looking better. Hockett's looking good. I could like the Vikings offense way better. I like the Panthers offense. So give me the Vikings to cover. And I think they get most of the 45 points themselves. So they're going over 45.
Okay. Yeah, I'm with Ryan and Timmy on this one. I just don't think it. I do sort of agree to an extent with what Jake said about how the Panthers looked a little bit better with Andy Dalton last week, the veteran presence, a calm mind in there, somebody who's done it for 38,000 yards. So looking at Bryce Young, it may have been a situation where he maybe needed to sit for part of the year, like watch a veteran go out there and run the offense. Now, we could be entirely wrong. He could look great in 2 weeks, but right now, the way it sits, he doesn't look fantastic. So I'm going to go with the Vikings, and I also think that they cover. I think they probably win by somewhere around 2 touchdowns, and as a result of them winning by somewhere around 2 touchdowns, I do think it also goes over. You're talking Kirk Cousins has not been a slouch at any point in his career, even though everybody likes to make fun of him because of his primetime games and stuff. Justin Jefferson is probably the best receiver I've ever seen in my time. And all these things go into my evaluation there. I got the Vikings. Jake, you get the first go on this one. You've got the Rams visiting the Colts. 1.5 favorites are the Colts. Over under is 46.5.
Man, this is another one that I just bounced back and forth with.
Are you sure that's right? You made the over unders, and I saw one that you messed up down the bottom, the Chiefs and Jets. Are you sure that's not correct? And the Rams aren't the favorite?
I mean, I could check that real quick.
No, that's correct. I saw that in the beginning of the week too.
Okay,
Yeah.
fair enough. Okay, yeah. So apparently the Colts are favored at home against the Rams by 1.5 points.
Yeah, no, there's no love for the Rams team right now. Their defense just isn't good.
Well, I mean, the Colts are 2-1.
That is true. And actually, as I look at it right now, it's even. It's a pick 'em, but yeah, it's even and a 45 so it's dropped a 1.5. But I go back and forth with this. Anthony Richardson looks good, but also Gardner Minshew looked just as good. I think that offense has a great offensive line. They have Pittman. Zach Moss has done great. But on the other side, you have the Rams offense that just looks good as well. Matthew Stafford looks like his old self. And so I fought back and forth here, and this is one of my underdogs. I'm taking the Rams as much as I don't want to. And I'm taking the under. So I think 46.5 is a lot,
points.
and I think Vegas agreed because they just dropped it a point. So I think a bunch of people are betting the under as well.
Well, that's a good thing I'm not all the other people because I'm taking over.
Well, it's your pick, so fire away, Tim.
I think the Colts defense had a lot of turnovers last year, but that was self-inflicted wounds with the Ravens. It wasn't the Colts making big plays. It was the Ravens, Lamar Jackson fake pumped the ball and it slipped out of his hand. It's Lamar Jackson making errors. I'm not saying the Colts don't have a good defense. They have an okay defense. The Rams have an okay defense. I just like the experience player with Matthew Stafford over Anthony Richardson right now. So give me the Rams to cover and to go over.
Fair enough.
Okay. That makes it – well, that would make it mine.
Proud of you.
Man, I don't like this game at all, and I kind of wish we didn't have to pick it. I'm taking the Colts. Strictly for no other reason than they are the home team. I don't have a large explanation anyway, one way or the other. If the Rams were the home team, I'd take the Rams. And that about sums that up. So, yeah, I'll take them to cover the 1.5 points because how could you not at that point? But I don't think they score a lot of points in this game, so I'm going under. So I'm going Colts cover and under.
Fair enough.
Yeah, I am also taking the Colts here to cover the 1.5 spread. Shane Steichen has that offense, in his bag right now. It doesn't matter who's at quarterback, like Jake alluded to. Anthony Richardson was playing well. Gardner Minshew's playing well. The Rams do look better than I thought they would be in the beginning of the season. However, Stafford is doing his best Brett Favre impersonation that he's done his whole career, has 4 picks thrown already this year. He desperately needs Cooper Kupp back to kind of stabilize his offense as good as our boy Puka Nuke's been. But I'm taking the Colts here, better consistency on offense, and I don't like either of these defenses, so I'm actually taking the over here.
All right, copy that. Tim, you get the next game, bud.
Oh, yeah. No, I haven't seen the Eagles yet. Another 105 game.
We'll get there. How about you just listen to the one that's coming up? Anyway, actually, it's the next one, and I did not intentionally make it, so I had the first pick there. I am sorry. That was just like the luck of the draw there.
It's that cheating shit again, Ryan.
Yeah, okay. Tampa Bay Buccaneers are visiting the New Orleans Saints. Saints are favored by 3.5 points. The over-under here is 40.5. Tim.
Listen, the Buccaneers, they had a bad game against the Eagles, but they started playing pretty well in the fourth quarter. The Saints have to figure out that offense with Jameson Winston as a quarterback. So I like man, this is tough. Give me the Buccaneers for the upset. And give me
40.5.
Give me the over. Over.
Yeah, I figured as much.
It's a tough game.
It is a tough game. The Saints defense has actually looked pretty solid for the most part this year. I know Derek Carr isn't playing, which is kind of a big deal. However, Jameis Winston has been a starter in this league for both of these teams. And when he starts, he airs the ball out. So because it's not like some random backup coming in, it's Jameis Winston, who's been in the offense already for over a year. He knows the system. I'm going to go with the Saints on this one. There's still a comfort level there. I'm going to go with the Saints. I don't think they cover the 3.5 point spread, though. I think they only win by 3. And I do also think it goes over. I've got a 24-21 victory in favor of the Saints. Ryan.
Yeah, so from the time that this line was made for our bet to now, it hasn't moved at all, despite the fact that Derek Carr's announced out. So I think that people are comfortable with the fact that Alvin Kamara is making his return to the Saints this week. And I'm going to bet on that as well. I'm taking the Saints. I also don't think that they cover, and I'm taking the under. I was very disappointed with what I saw by the Tampa offense last week. It literally saw because I was at the game, but it just wasn't encouraging to me. They still cannot run the ball with any sort of consistency. And as I texted you guys earlier in the week, Mike Evans is consistently shut down by Marshawn Lattimore. So I am taking the Saints to cover or not cover. I think it'll be a close game, but I'm taking the under.
Jake.
Yeah, so this one's pretty simple to me because I look at the New Orleans Saints. Their defense is good, as Bill said. They've allowed 18 points, 17 points, and 15 points. Granted, that's Carolina, Tennessee, and Green Bay. So, but I don't like Jameis here. They were up 17-0 when Carr went out. That offense looked like it was rolling. I know he's the backup. He came in, but they scored no points after that. They scored nothing. I think Jameis is going to do what he does. He's going to turn the ball over. He's a gunslinger. That's what he does. But I'm getting the Bucs with an actual starting quarterback and the under. So
Damn, I'm the only one that had the over.
I wouldn't call Baker
you gotta
Mayfield
think the
an
Saints
actual starting quarterback.
I went over.
the Saints are 3-0 for the under right now on the season. So
I went over too, Tim. Next game, which just happened to fall on me to pick here, the Washington Commies are visiting the Philadelphia Eagles. I obviously just threw this together. It could be blamed on Jake just as much because he's the one who did the 1:00 games or whatever. Anyway, but yeah, so we got the Washington Commies visiting the Philadelphia Eagles. The line here is 8.5 points. The over/under is 44. I'm going the Eagles here. I don't think that's a surprise. 8.5 points is a pretty large spread for a divisional game. However, I watched what the Bills did last week to Washington, and the Eagles have a better defensive front than the Bills do. So I can't imagine Sam Howell has much better of a game. So I'm going to take them to cover and the over. Garbage time touchdown makes it a 34-24 game at the end. That's what I'm calling. Eagles cover over. Ryan?
I'm also taking the Eagles. I think they're just a better team. Interestingly enough, since this was made, the line has moved more in favor of Philly. It now sits at -9. So that means there's money on the Eagles to cover 8.5. I don't feel that way, though, because that is an incredibly large spread for an offense in the Eagles who still has yet to figure it out. Jalen Hurts still doesn't look all the way right, but this is going to be his breakout game. He's going to figure it out here, so I'm taking the over.
Jake. Just to be clear, Ryan, you said not cover. Ryan frozen? Oh, okay.
No, I was like, is he frozen? Hello, buddy.
No, there must be a delay or something he's dealing with. Jake, go ahead.
So like you alluded to, defensive line is just crazy for the Eagles, and the offensive line for the Commanders is just not that good. Sam Howell wants to make plays, as his 3 touchdowns to 5 interceptions will display. So with that being said, the Eagles win this handily. They cover easy, but I have the under. I don't think the Commanders are going to be able to put up points. I know the Eagles secondary isn't the best outside of Slay, but
Bradbury.
Yeah, but
put some respect on the name, boy.
I really just got to stop talking about the Eagles in general. It's not in my favor in this ever.
That's fine. Tim, fire away, buddy.
Hopefully this is the last pick I make on my phone because my laptop is loading up right now. So that's good. Oh, only half the show, more than half the show. But give me the Eagles, obviously. Eagles fan. I'm never going to go against the Eagles. I think they covered. I think they blow them out the water. I think Devontae Smith had another huge game against the Commanders. I think they go over the 44 points too. 44.5 for us, technically, right? If I'm not mistaken.
It's supposed to be 44.5, yeah.
Okay.
Sorry, I should have caught that, but I was just literally essentially copy and pasting.
That's fine. Give me the Eagles to cover and to go over.
All right. Let's move on to the next game. Cincinnati Bengals visiting the Tennessee Titans. 2.5-point favorites are the Bengals. Ryan, you get the fire away on this one. Over under 41.5. I'm going to remove you while you. Does your laptop boot?
I'm taking the Bengals.
Not yet, Bill.
Go ahead, Ryan. I'm sorry.
I'm taking the Bengals here. They got to figure it out at some point, right? I am taking them to cover as well. I don't have a lot of faith in the Titans offense right now. They don't seem to be moving the football. Derrick Henry doesn't look like himself, and Ryan Tannehill is struggling to throw the football. That being said, I do have my suspicions about the Bengals offense too. Joe Burrow obviously hindered by his calf injury. It is promising that he practiced in full every day this week. Give me the Bengals to cover, and I will take the under here.
Jake.
The Bengals defense is good. Joe Burrow, it is nice that he practiced all week, as you alluded to. The Titans offense is in shambles as well. Burks is out this week, so they're just going to double D-Hop. Nobody else is a playmaker right now. They're not using Derrick Henry. Ryan Tannehill just throws it to the opposite team just for fun, I guess. And so I got the Bengals winning this pretty easy. I do see something stupid happening, but I got the Bengals to cover in the over.
Tim.
I lied. I'm still on my phone, unfortunately. My internet's not working for my laptop. But give me the Bengals. I think if the Titans can use the weapon as King Henry, as he was the last couple of years, the right way, they might have a shot. But I don't think they're going to do that now. I don't know why. Give me the Bengals to cover. And they go, I think it goes under the 41.5.
Again, it's really promising that, Joe Burrow practiced all week in full. I've also got the Bengals. I've got them to cover in the over. Keep in mind the Titans have been down in almost every game that they've been in, so they've been using TJ Spears or whatever his first name, Spears, because it's a passing down every down when you're behind. But I do agree the fact that he's out snapping Derrick Henry 3-1 right now is extremely concerning, especially when you've got Derrick Henry on your roster. So maybe the Titans know something we don't, or maybe they're just trying to hope that they can kind of sort of stay in the running for that division until late in the season. Then they just drop King Henry on the league with fresh legs. Who knows? But because of the usage right now, that team is extremely concerning. I'm wondering when we might see Will Levis, as long as Ryan Tannehill continues to not play well. So give me the Bengals, give me them to cover, and give me the over because I think they win. Or because obviously I think that they go over the 41.5. Jake, you get the next one, bud. We've got
with the news that Jimmy G is out, that means Brian Hoyer is going to be up to bat as the backup for the Raiders. This was already easy for me. The Chargers are going to win.
Already talking about it, man. I didn't even get a chance to introduce you to say it. Just like
Did
cutting me off. I'm just kidding, man. Go ahead. Raiders at Chargers. Chargers are favored by 5.5. 47.5 is the over/under. So Jake is taking the Chargers.
Man, that was simple. In my head, you already said all that, so that's crazy. I'm losing it over here. Yeah, Chargers, they're going to cover with ease. The Raiders are just not good. Josh McDaniels is going to get fired. I actually think he might get fired after this game because I think it's going to be just an ass kicking beyond belief. The Raiders defense was already sketchy. They're going up against the high-powered Chargers offense. And yeah, no, I have the over here. I have like a 42-10 game.
Wow, you're like, okay, fair enough. Tim?
Good to know that Jimmy G's out. I might be able to pick up a quarterback now in one league, but I don't think it's gonna be anywhere close. Give me the Chargers to go over, or not to go under, but cover the 5.5 points.
And with that being said, I'm looking at the Chargers have gone up a point already, and the over has gone up a point. But since we're going when I posted this on Wednesday, thank God.
Tim, you went Chargers cover over? I'm sorry, bud.
No, I'm going under.
Okay. Yeah, you reminded me that I needed to replace Jimmy G. That brings it to me. Yeah, I'm going Chargers. I also think they win handily, so they got the cover. And I mean, 47.5 when you think about it, a 28-21 game is more than 48 points, right? So, yeah, give me the Chargers to cover and the over.
Yeah, I'm taking the Chargers here as well, covering, and I'm taking the under, actually. I don't think that the Raiders' offense is going to produce enough for them to reach the over.
All right. Tim, you get to start the next one. We've got the New England Patriots visiting the Dallas Cowboys. 7.5 point favorites are the Cowboys. Over under is 43.5. The reason I chuckled is because Jake has it on the document as Cowgirls, which is funny because I usually write in Cow Bitches, but that's fine. We'll take Cowgirls.
Tim, sorry, I thought this was a family show. That's on me.
Just a bunch of female dogs.
For what it's worth here, for what it's worth here, since Jake has made this, the spread has dropped 1.5 points in favor of New England. So it's like obviously we're going off of minus 7.5, but now it sits at -6.
Nope, we're going 6.5. You done told me before we went and did it, so it's 6.5 it is.
Oh, what? No, can't do that because we've already had a couple other games we didn't change. Got to go back to 7.5.
All right, fair enough.
I don't think it's going to change for me either way. Give me the Cowboys. Listen, the Patriots defense is playing really well lately, and I 100% playing well. Good for them. I don't think they're going to do this well tonight. Tomorrow, the Cowboys' defense is better than what they showed last week at the Cardinals. So give me the Cowboys. I think they're going to cover 7.5, and it's going to go over 43 too.
Okay, I like that. Hey, listen. Like Timmy pointed, the Patriots have been surprising to me this year. They put up a fight against the Eagles in week 1. They put up a fight against the Dolphins in week 2, and you've seen what those two teams can do to other teams. So Bill Belichick is going to come into this game. He's going to be ready. He's going to have a game plan. He's going to know how to get Dak Prescott off his mark. I've got the Patriots going into Dallas and winning this game outright. Not by the points. I'm telling you, the Patriots are going to win this game outright. I do think it goes over. I still think it's a small amount of a shootout here. But I'm telling you, Bill Belichick is going to find a way to get Dak Prescott off his spot, make him make mistakes, and that's how the Patriots defense is going to cash in and score points. I predict at least one pick six or fumble, a scoop and score for the Patriots defense in this game. Give me the Patriots. And the over. I said the over. Ryan.
I'm taking Dallas here. I think their offense rebounds now that they'll have, most of their offensive line back healthy. Last week was a disaster. They had 3 to 4 offensive linemen out of that game, and it showed because Dak Prescott was under pressure pretty much every drop back. I do think that Dallas is the better team, but I'm not taking them to cover this game at all because every Patriots game, they've lost by 5, lost by 7, won by 5. If they don't win, they'll find a way to keep it close. So I don't like 7.5 here. And I'm actually going to take the under because these defenses are very good. And I don't necessarily trust the Cowboys offense without Kellen Moore just yet.
Jake.
So yeah, this is pretty simple to me. I think the Cowboys do win just because they are the better team, but Diggs going down on defense, as we just saw against the Cardinals, actually kind of messed with that team a little bit. I don't think their defense is as good. He was an elite cornerback. So I have the Cowboys winning. I do not think they cover, and I think this goes over easily. The Cowboys have put up 16 points last week, 30 the week before, and 40 the week before that. So they put up points consistently. And New England has a better offense than people give them credit for. They played the Eagles and the Jets, and they still put up 20 and 15 respectfully. So I think this is going to be a 24-20 game. That covers it exactly.
All right. Next game, I get the start on this one. It's the Cardinals visiting the 49ers. Listen, a week and a half ago, this game was an absolute no-brainer. I'm just kidding. It's still a no-brainer. The 49ers are going to win this game. I give the Cardinals massive amounts of credit for what they did last week against the Cowboys. But I don't think McCarthy is as good a coach as Shanahan is, and the Niners are not going to look past the Cardinals. So, yeah, give me the 49ers here. 14.5 point spread. That's big. You're talking more than 2 touchdown victory over a division rival. I don't think they cover a 2 touchdown win. I think I got them winning by around 10. I do think it goes over, though. I think, combined, it's, more than 44.5 points. I've got a 28-17, 28-18 type game going on. So, yeah, over. Ryan.
Yeah, Niners comfortably for me. No cover, again, comfortably for me. This could be the absolute worst team in the NFL versus the defending Super Bowl champion. And if I saw a spread of 14.5, I would take no cover every time. That's just mathematically a bad bet. And I'm actually going to I'm probably going to go the under here. I think that San Fran's defense is better than Dallas's now with the absence of Trayvon Diggs. And I think that this being a divisional game, Josh Dobbs is going to see some hell. So give me the Niners, no cover, under.
Jake.
Yeah, no. The only thing I see different here is the 49ers are going to win. They're going to crush it. I think they do cover. And here's why I think. The 49ers have put up 30 points every game they've played. And so they're going to put up 30 points easily, I think, here. The Cardinals' defense is just not as good as they need to be to stop that offense. It's running well. It's too good. But the Cardinals, they put up points too. So it's 49ers cover over. And I see a huge win here. I think the 49ers put up 40 points.
Okay.
Like 40-20 or something. It's going to be weird.
All right. Tim.
The Cardinals defense has something about them last week that I like to see. They had a little bit of fight in them, and I liked it. They knew the Cowboys were a better team, but they didn't back down, which is awesome for them. But the 49ers are a better team than the Cowboys. But having said that, I don't think they covered the 14.5 points. It's too much for me. 2 touchdowns. They didn't cover against the Giants, and the Giants didn't cover against the Cardinals. I do think it goes over 44.5 though.
All right, sounds good. Sounds good. Ryan, you get to start the next one. We got the Kansas City Chiefs visiting the New York Jets. Chiefs are favored by 9.5 points. Over under is 42.5. Ryan.
Taking the Chiefs. That shouldn't be too much of a surprise to anybody here. Even with Aaron Rodgers healthy, I would still probably take the Chiefs. However, what I would not do with Aaron Rodgers healthy is take the Chiefs to cover. 10 points, I think, is a very reasonable expectation for them, given the fact that on the opposite side, the Jets' offense is lifeless. There's no punch to them. So the Chiefs, could probably leisurely go through this game fighting against the Jets defense, still put up 21 points and cover the spread. I just don't expect anything from the Jets offense. That being said, I think it stays under. Jets defense, like I said, will put up a fight against the Chiefs offense. It's just the Jets offense against the Chiefs defense is going to be bad.
Jake.
Yeah, just what Tim said about the Cardinals, they don't have Vance Joseph anymore to run that defense. They had players. He's just a terrible DC, but I'm just going to say that real quick just because fuck Vance Joseph. I'm not a fan, but I think Chiefs win this game easily. I think Zach Wilson probably gets... What's up?
I thought this was a family show.
Oh my God. Not when it comes to the Broncos. It's not a family show. There's a lot of cussing involved.
So you got the Chiefs to cover and the over, you said, Jake?
No, I got the under.
Okay.
I think the Chiefs put up like 24 points, but I don't see the Jets offense putting up more than 10. This is the best Chiefs defense that they've had. And Mahomes just is Patrick Mahomes. He's going to score. It's what he does.
Ryan, that's my bad, brother. Did you say the over or the under?
Under.
Tim?
I got one question. The big question that should have been asked already. Is Taylor Swift going to be in a stadium tomorrow?
Let me make this very clear. I don't give a crap.
Nobody cares.
I don't care. I'm so sick of hearing about it.
I had to. I'm trying to get you more followers. You got to put hashtag Taylor Swift on this.
That's true. We do have to put hashtag Taylor Swift.
That's true. We mentioned her, so I think we actually legally have to.
Oh, Lord.
Sorry. But give me the Chiefs. The Jets defense is really good. I'm not saying they're not. But I like Patrick Mahomes and Travis Kelce more. So give me the Chiefs to cover the 9.5 points. I still think it goes under, though.
Okay, we're all the same then. Timmy, you just said it. That Jets defense is still no joke, regardless of whether the offense can move the ball or not. So I've got the Chiefs. I've got them to cover the 10-point spread, but I also have the under. 21-3, 21-7 type game. Let's see. Jake, you get the Monday night game here, pal.
Hell yeah.
Timmy, I just said that on the text message chat.
My phone on Do Not Disturb.
Gotcha.
Nice.
All right.
Well done.
Jake,
I created a poll on Twitter. You guys should go check it out.
And did that Taylor Swift?
I said you guys should go check it out.
I will.
We're in the middle of a show. But I'll go check it out real quick.
That being said, so we have the Seahawks at the Giants. It's an even score. And over under is 47.5. So it's a pick'em game essentially. And to me, it's not even close. I think the Seahawks just are more talented offense, defensive wise. So I got the Seahawks. I think both defenses aren't the best. So I see this going over. I think it's going to be a shootout. Daniel Jones is just going to throw the ball to Waller. That's what he does best. Or is just going to check it down to Paris Campbell on a slant route. That's all Daniel Jones can do. He can't throw a ball deep. It's kind of pathetic, but it's fine.
Over or under? I'm sorry.
70-20.
Oh, I have an over. I have the over.
Tim.
Listen, I hope Daniel Jones can step it up. I like him as a running quarterback more than I get to sit in the pocket and throw the ball. Last year he did very well running the ball. We all know he did. That's what made him in a top 10 fantasy quarterback. But the Seahawks just have an overall better team. With Barkley out, give me the Seahawks, and it's even. I don't know why it's even. To cover, I guess. And I don't think it goes over 47.5, though.
I'm with Tim on this one, especially with Barkley out. I got the Seahawks in the under here because the Seahawks aren't going to need to put up points because I don't think Danny Dimes can get it done by himself with his lack of receivers and Darren Waller. I just don't see it. So give me the Seahawks in the under.
Seahawks over. I think that this ends up being a shootout. I think that this is an awakening, a call for the Giants offense. I just don't think that they get the job done.
Well, there we go. There you have it, ladies and gentlemen. We got all of our picks in. We'll obviously keep you updated. As Ryan mentioned earlier in the show to Z Money, we do have a fantasy stardom and sit-em show tomorrow morning before the 1 o'clock games, not before the 9:30 games. If you have those questions, hit us up on Twitter or Facebook, and we'll give you the answer there. Anybody have anything else?
Go Birds.
Sorry that I was on my phone the whole time.
Go Birds. Thanks for joining us here on BSing Sports.
God damn it.
Thanks for joining us here on BSing Sports, where we do a little BS and we talk a whole lot of sports. Have a good night.